There's a few more folks coming in. Y'all go ahead and have a seat, and we're going to go ahead and get started because we probably have about 40 minutes or so of our program. First of all, we just want to say thank you for being here and thank you for being a part of this Autism Awareness Month. To let you know, April is Autism Awareness Month. And there's actually a national day, which is April the 2nd, a world day, which is April the 2nd, where they celebrate all over the world. We are excited to be able to share this, especially because our boys, Caleb and Dylan, wanted to be a part of this and wanted to share some of their thoughts and feelings. And I just want to tell you what a blessing it's been to work with these boys and putting this together. What we're going to do is we're going to have an overview of autism, a teen's perspective. Caleb's going to get up and tell his story. Dylan's going to come up and tell his story. And then at the end, you're going to get to see a really neat inspirational video, okay? All right. Part of working with our region, which is Region 18, I've got to work with Becky Ballou, which has been great. And we do some autism-based practices, different practices to work with those on the autism spectrum. Anything from video modeling to peer socialization and those type of things. So Becky is a great representative from our region and will be able to give you a good overview. Becky Ballou.
First of all, how many of you took tests last week? Okay, give yourself a hand because you survived. You survived. I'm proud of you for surviving. We're going to look at autism from a teen perspective. And I just want you to know a little bit about what autism is, and our guys are even going to tell us more about what autism is. But autism is often referred to as a spectrum disorder, or ASD. And under that spectrum, or that umbrella, you're going to see classic autism, high-functioning autism, pervasive developmental disorder, Asperger disorder, or Asperger syndrome as it's sometimes referred to, and there's others under there too. Classic autism, we often think of if you know a child that is maybe nonverbal, has cognitive problems, lower functioning, and then you've got the high-functioning autism, which has a typical brain as far as intelligence, and pervasive developmental disorder is like, well, they've sort of on the autism spectrum, but sort of not. Asperger disorder, and all these others. But just like you're all different, autism is different too. Autism spectrum disorders don't look alike in the same people or in different people. One thing I want you to remember is that it's neurological. It is a brain disorder. It's not racial, religious, economic, geographical, or socially defined. Autism spectrum disorders are in every country, in every socioeconomic group, every age group, every state. It knows no racial boundaries. There's not just white kids that have it or black kids that have it. And it develops before the age of 3. We think now that it does develop in the womb or before. And it's a whole spectrum from nonverbal cognitive challenges to genius intelligence and everything in between. What it's not, this is very important, it's not psychological. In other words, it's not caused by a mother that didn't bond with her child. It's not the same thing as schizophrenia or some of those psychological disorders. Remember, it's neurological, it's brain. It's not acquired later in life. People aren't going to wake up one day at 17 years old and say, oh, I have autism. No, it's developed in the womb or before the age of 3. It's not contagious. It's not necessarily accompanied by intellectual disabilities. And it's not static because it changes, from one person to the next. A neurotypical brain or an NT brain versus an autism spectrum brain. Differences in teenagers with a neurotypical brain and a teenager with autism brain, you're going to see some social challenges that a typical teenager might not have, though I think we all have social challenges. You'll probably see some communication differences, a repetitive behavior or some restricted interest, and some sensory differences, and our guys are going to talk about those. What causes autism spectrum disorders? We really don't know. Approximately 1 in 88 people are on the autism spectrum, depending on what state you're in. If you live in New Jersey or in Colorado, it's about 1 in 50 students have autism. It's more common in boys than in girls, and we know that it's caused by a genetic factor and an environmental factor, and those two meeting. And we do know it's not caused by vaccines. At one time, that's what it was thought to be caused by. But every day you open the newspaper, and there's another theory about what causes it, but the bottom line is we don't know. Teens with autism spectrum disorders have the same dreams and goals you do. They may have certain difficulties with different activities. They may have strengths in some areas, such as computers or video games. They may be very literal, not understanding sarcasm, and it affects the person, but it does not define who that person is. So, accept your friend's differences. Use people-first language. In other words, your friend has autism. He is not autistic, or he's not the autistic kid. Remember to protect your friends from things that bother him or her. Join your friends in activities that interest him or her, and help them understand that you have interest too. Be patient and understand that your friend doesn't mean to bother you or others. And you can be the friend by protecting them when others try to bully or tease. Give your friend extra time to answer or complete an activity. Invite your friend with autism to join you in group activities such as school or sporting events. Help others learn about and accept autism as just a different kind of brain. Okay, now we're up. All right, Caleb, come on up.
The way that this originated, Caleb and his mom, we were visiting, and Caleb said he wanted to share his story. And it's been really neat and really great for Caleb to have this opportunity. So right now, our junior here in FortDavis, Caleb, your kitty, is going to share his story. Caleb?
Yeah, right there. All right. My name is Caleb Alonzo, your kitty, and there's 10 things I would like for you to know about me. First, I have autism. I am not just autistic. My autism is only one area of my total character. It does not define me as a person. Are you a person with thoughts, feelings, and many talents, or ADD? Those may be things that I see first when I meet someone. But that doesn't mean that is who you are. This is who I am. All autistic individuals have a unique special ability or talent. Autism people have images in their minds. They follow their interests no matter the age. It could be about geek stuff, strategies, theories, or any else they have in their minds. But once they have the interest in their minds, it is what they will stick to and obsess over for their whole life. They can think stuff up along the way to be better creative at it. It could be one of their own creative interests or style. A new idea or something already out there, they know that they can improve because they can see it in their minds to help advance ideas. The following images are of the following. Take a look at my room that holds my Sonic the Hedgehog collection. I have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I collect and have played in nationwide Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments. I also collect special editions items for all of Halo. Also, my gaming computer room is where I spend most of my day. And that's my gaming room. That's where I mostly spend my days because I'm a geek, and that's all I've been since I was about 4 years old, just playing video games my whole life. 2, my sensory levels are different. This means that my ordinary sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touches of everything that you may not even notice can be downright painful for me, and totally different than you. Growing up and going to different places and being around different people was often many times traumatic to me. There may be times I may appear withdrawn or upset, but I am really just trying to understand and protect myself from certain sounds and others not understanding me. When I was younger, going to movies may have been a normal fun trip for y'all, but for me it was chaos. My hearing sensory was an overload all the time. The fun was gone because of the loudspeakers, the white noise, and the whines from the sound system. The bass, the vibrations were 100 times to me. My brain can't filter all the input, and I'm in overload, but I have improved. 3, please remember to distinguish between won't, I choose not to, and can't, I'm not able to. Receptive, expressed language and vocabulary can be a major challenge for me. It isn't that I don't listen to instructions, it's that I can't understand you. When you call to me from across the room, this is what I hear. That's all the time. Instead, speak directly to me in plain words and more direction. This tells me what you want me to do and what is going to happen next. Now, it is much easier for me to follow. I am a concrete thinker. I believe what I am told. This means I take things very literally. For example, hold your horses, cowboy. When you really mean this, please slow down. Don't tell me something is a piece of cake when there is no dessert inside, and what you really mean is, this will be easy for you to do. Also, sarcasm and jokes may be hard for me to follow, but my feelings may still be heard through I may not understand. If you keep teasing me about something and keep on, I am soon going to believe it and soon get annoyed about it. 5, please be patient with my limited vocabulary. It's hard for me to tell you what I need or am feeling when I don't know the words to describe my feelings. 6, it's hard for me to tell you what I need or am feeling when I don't know the words to describe my feeling. Being visual for me is a way of life. I react differently when I've been asked to go outside and play or find something to do. I stand outside and see land, some trees, and nothing. My imagination goes differently than yours. With video games, I can use my imagination skills and be complete as if y'all were playing a game of basketball. I'm at a point in life that I have dreams and expectations and goals just like any other student, except to reach my dreams and goals may be a little bit more difficult to get to than yours. What I hope for is a degree from University of Advancing Technology where I'll soon start making video games. 7, please focus and build on what I can do rather than what I can't do. I can't learn in an environment where I constantly made to feel that I'm not good enough and that I need. Fixing, trying anything new when I'm almost sure to be criticized is something I try to avoid. Just like in baseball last year, this was a dream of mine to always play me in my team players, and coaches made me feel so accepted. Go Indians, I will always remember you. Look for my strength and you will find them. There is more than one right way to do most things. 8, please help me with social interactions. It may look like I don't want to get involved with other students, but sometimes it's just that I simply don't know how to start a conversation. I'm hoping that with this new understanding of me, that my classmates will want to include me and invite me to join them. I will be happy to be included and feel accepted. This will help me with my social skill and get better at conversations with knowing what to say and when. 9, meltdowns. Meltdowns or bloods, whatever you want to call them, were even more horrible for me. I could not express my feelings or frustrations. Luckily, my family knew how to get me to calm down. These meltdowns occur because one or more of my senses has gone into overload. My family, my mom could see them coming, and would help me so that I would not go into extremes. I used to cut up my favorite videotapes or tear up crafts I made that were special to my mom and family. If I asked why I did that, I could not respond because I could not express my emotions. Try to remember that all behavior is a form of communication. It tells you when my words cannot, how I believe something that is happening in my environment is too much. 10, most important about me. I did not choose to have autism, but I remember that it is happening to me, not you. Without your support, my chances of success are slim. Without your support and guidance, then my success could be great. I promise you, I am worth it. Work to view my autism as a different ability rather than disability. Look past what you may see as the limitations and see the gifts autism has given me. It may be true that I'm not good at eye contact or conversation, but have you noticed I don't lie, cheat at games, or pass judgment on other people? I try to keep things fair and always be honest. Also, true that I probably won't be the next Michael Jordan, but with my attention to fine details and focus on my interests, I might be the next Einstein or Mozart or Thomas Edison. They had autism too. want to say, once I get done with these presentations, since I found myself a new interest, you can notice I have my guitar there. I play in my Xbox. I have a new game, Roxy, that will teach me how to play guitar. So once I get done with this presentation, I'm going to play one song, live performance for y'all, right here. All that might become won't happen without you as my foundation through these important years of school. Think through some of these society rules. If they don't make sense for me, let them go. Will my advocated, be my friend, and we'll just see how far I can go. If you want to know any more about autism, just Google it. They have all the answers. Alright, that's it. Alright, let's get it over with.
Please turn down the lights and turn the speakers so that everyone can hear.
guitar picked up. Hey, Dylan, you want to come on up here, bud? All right. Dylan Parent. All right, Dylan, you're going to grab that microphone. You can speak in that one, okay? When Dylan and I were talking, we were talking about the different parts of being on the autism spectrum. And his is on, it's called PDD, the pervasive developmental disorder. It's on the lower end. And so some of the things that we work on is social and communication and things like that. And Dylan, since you've gotten here, how long have you been with us? How long have you been in FortDavis?
I've been here for 2 years.
For about 2 years. And I cannot tell you how proud we are about all of the leaps and bounds that you've been making. What are some of the things that we have worked on? What about when we speak, what are some of the things we work on?
Social skills.
Our social skills, speaking loudly or speaking the way others do in a regular conversation. And you know, Dylan's told me something really interesting. We were talking about sometimes he gets agitated or frustrated. He's really learned to deal with that. But tell me what you told me about interrupting. Sometimes that's what we worked on, being patient and saying, excuse me. Just like we do with all of you, we continue to work on those things. But what did you say about interruptions? What did you tell me about that? About when you didn't know you were really doing that? When that happens sometimes?
Sometimes when I talk, sometimes when someone else is talking, I have no idea that they're done.
Right, and we've worked on that, kind of waiting and making sure that we speak at the right time, and he has just really grown with that so much. And we talked about sensory levels. We talked about there's different things that you feel, there's different things that you hear that may bother you. What are some of the things that bother you sometimes, that you get agitated or frustrated with? Is there any sensory things that bother you? Like things that you could hear, or things that you feel that are different? Is there anything that ever bothers you that way?
I don't like high-pitched noises.
And we worked on that. What's another thing? What about Temple Grandin? Temple Grandin is an animal advocate, also has Asperger's, and she really speaks all over the country. What does she wear all the time because of the feel of it? What does she wear all the time, no matter what?
She always likes wearing blue jeans.
She does, and we went to listen to her, and you know what she told us? That over in China, they quit making those blue jeans that she wears. So she said she's going to have holy pants before too long, right? You remember that? And what does she wear also? Her Western shirts? And she likes those. And there's other famous people that are on that spectrum as well that we've thought about. Even from years ago, you would be amazed. All right, that singer, the music. Who else? Who's that?
Mozart.
Mozart was. What about some other artists that were on the spectrum years ago? Who else were they?
Picasso and Michelangelo.
Yeah, so it's amazing. And talking about sensory issues, there was one person, and it's amazing to know this, that never wore socks, but was really famous. Who was that?
Albert Einstein.
Very good. Tell us some of the ones that are more present day that we know about that are on the spectrum.
Director Steven Spielberg.
Who else do you remember? What about who invented Pokemon? What was his name? You like bugs and video games, right? What was his name though? Tajiri? Taylor, is that right? Tajiri that invented Pokemon?
I think so.
I think that's who it is. Another one that I thought was interesting, has anybody seen the movie Mermaid? And she has the pretty long blonde hair. Hunter has. All right. Oh, good. Hunter has seen Mermaid. Well, something interesting about that actress, her name was Daryl Hannah, and she could get into a role and act beautifully, but she was painfully shy. She wouldn't stand going to a premiere. She just hardly could do that type of thing. So there's all types of folks on this spectrum that you're dealing. You want to tell us a little bit more about you? You want to tell us about your interests and some of the things that you like? Why don't you go ahead and get started?
My interests? Back to the Future is my favorite 1980s film.
Why? I thought it was so interesting because you love Back to the Future. What is it that really got you involved with that? What was something that made you think, oh my gosh, I like that show?
The reason why I liked the movie was because of the car.
Okay, Back to the Future. Who knows the name of that car? Is it just a DeLorean or did it have a name?
It was a DeLorean.
Oh, okay. But did it have a name? No? No. Ms. McIver. All right, who is that?
These characters is Marty and Doc, who are played by Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, these were back in my days. I like this movie. What the heck was that on the DeLorean?
Back in the first film, they used this contraption to make the DeLorean go up to 88 miles per hour, the plutonium chamber.
Wow, cool. Did it do all kinds of neat things when it got up to that speed?
It's supposed to generate the 1.21 gigawatts to make it go back in time.
Wow, okay. And what's this?
This contraption is the time circuit.
And what does the time circuit do?
The time circuit is supposed to tell you where you're going, this happens where you are, and this tells you where you were.
Okay. How many of you out there have seen Back to the Future? Do y'all remember that movie? All right, we have the, is that flux capacitor? How do you say that?
The flux capacitor.
Okay, what did that do?
This is what makes time travel possible.
Okay, all right. Oh, the best of the 80s. Who remembers Knight Rider? Okay, there is one thing I do know about Knight Rider. There was a DeLorean in Back to the Future. Ms. McIver got her stories mixed up there. What was the name of the car in Knight Rider? Kit. Very good. All right. And who was the actor? Does anybody remember David Hasselhoff? Eileen, can I tell what you said? Dylan and I were talking about this, and it was so cute. We were like, David Hasselhoff, and Dylan goes, yeah, my Aunt Eileen thought he was a hottie. And I said, so did I. It was cute, Dylan. What else happened in this show?
Well, basically, Knight Rider is about a TV show about an undercover cop named Michael Long, who was doing an undercover project, but then he got shot in the face, and a rich man named Wilton Knight reconstructed his face to protect him. And he built a car that would protect him also, which was KITT, K-I-T-T.
Okay, all right, so there's KITT, and then here, oh wow, look at the turbo boost.
Now, turbo boost allows KITT to jump over obstacles.
KITT could do almost anything. Oh, what is the super pursuit mode?
Super pursuit mode is basically where KITT goes up like over to 400 miles per hour and increases 40% chance of speed.
Wow. All right, there's the hottie. And there's the interior of KITT. Look at KITT, all kinds of lights. That's where he'd punch everything to make things happen. Pretty much. All right, tell us about this next one. Who are your favorite people?
Let's see. These two people right here are from YouTube, Tobuscus and PewDiePie.
And what do they do? I mean,
PewDiePie and Tobuscus do kind of the same things. They do game videos and they have their face cams.
Okay, all right. Oh, and then your favorite game?
Minecraft.
Anybody else play Minecraft out there? All right. All right. Now, Dylan had to explain to me who Slender Man is, and I have actually seen this is his actual drawing that he did. Tell us about Slender Man.
Slender Man was a mythical creature made by the Englishmen.
Okay, I did not know that. And this was such an awesome time when Caleb and Dylan and I went up. The lady that you see here is Temple Grandin. Just raise your hand if you happen to see the movie about Temple Grandin. I know, okay, good, a lot of you have. And it's a fabulous movie, and Claire Danes did a great job. If you ever had that opportunity, she was a visual thinker. She did some amazing things, and she could just see things. She built these great pens and bats and things like that. And we were able to meet her and listen to her. It was really great. Oh boy. Can you do it? You want to do it? Not right now, but anyway, we were talking about favorite songs and things that he likes. And I did not spell anything correctly when we started this, did I? You had to show me how to do everything. Open Gangnam Style. All right. I just want to say also thanks to several boys on the JV basketball team. We had our last game in Marfa, and Dylan was on the basketball team. Yes, and we have it on tape. And it was exciting. So Marfa, Texas, boys JV. Dylan is number 41 on the other side there with the Marfa boys shooting a free throw. And I'll let y'all watch. But any of you boys that are on that team, if Coach Natividad is here, thank y'all. It was a special time. It was really awesome, and the neat thing about it too was just being a part of that team and watching your teammates, Dylan, and getting you that ball and you making that. It was what it was all about. But Megan and Jessica, the girls team, they ran out and gave him a big hug, and the boys on the varsity team congratulated him big. And anyway, Dylan, we were glad that you're a part of that basketball team, and glad that you're part of this school. Can y'all give Dylan a big hand? We are going to end with an inspirational video and just show parts of it. And what I thought was neat about this video is that everybody is different. And like we talked about earlier, there's just different ways that the brain works. There's differences that we all have as individuals. And Temple Grandin, I thought, said it really, really well. And she's the one that you saw a while ago, and who's probably one of the most influential persons right now that gets out to speak. Temple Grandin says, if I could snap my fingers and be non-autistic, I would not. Because then I wouldn't be me. Autism is a part of who I am. And guys, autism is a part of who these boys are. And you may have a friend, you may have a family member. There's someone that you probably know out there. And I challenge you, get to know them. Get to know them well, because it will be a true blessing in your life. And I know it has for me. So boys, thank y'all for putting up with Ms. McIver, okay? Let's give the boys a hand and thank them for putting up with this. We're almost to the end here, but we're going to end with this inspirational video.
So let's take a look at what happens when someone actually gets that chance.
Jody was diagnosed right before her second birthday.
What they told us was, we don't know what causes autism, you know, there's no cure for it, it's a lifelong disability, and don't expect too much.
All these dreams we had for her, I had for her, all of a sudden they vanished.
At 3 years old, she started school, and she went to a full day of intensive therapy, constant teaching. And then when she came home, she did another 2 hours of therapy in the house.
The time that she started with us, she really was barely able to form a sentence, couldn't really speak. Jody would engage in pretty severe tantrums when you disrupted any of her routines, if things didn't go her way. She would become aggressive, and she might tip over chairs, tip over tables, cry, scream, very, very distressed.
Let's go to the kitchen. Thank you, Bridget.
You're welcome. Almost everything was taught to her from a very young age.
We were extremely lucky to have gotten into a program where my child was able to access exactly what she needed.
We picked up early on that she was very interested in music.
Anything she would hear on TV or on the radio station, she would just walk over to her keyboard and start playing. She loves music, and I think through music and through songs, she's making herself known. She puts everything into it. It's been difficult, hard, but it's amazing how far she's come.
We were afraid she would never speak, never dreaming that she would sing or even be able to understand. And as the education continues, I've taken off that idea that there's some limit on her, because she, continually proves that that's not true.
Hello, everybody. I'm gonna play Firework by one of my favorite singers, Katy Perry. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under steam, while no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just overnight, like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go as you shoot across the sky. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go You're gonna leave 'em going
You don't have to feel like a waste of space. You're original, cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds after a hurricane comes a rainbow. Maybe the reason why all the doors were closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will glow, and when it's time, you'll know you just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just overnight,
so many folks to thank. Just right quick, thanks so much for the art, Mr. Davis and all your kiddos and pals, and Sue, Ms. Goins, and Mr. Hicks for helping get this all together, and Ms. Scott, just everybody that's involved. Thank y'all so much. And guys, remember, get to know somebody because it's a true blessing that's on the autism spectrum. Let's give our guys a hand. All right, have a great afternoon.
My name's Becky Ballou, and I am an autism consultant at Region 18 Education Service Center. And I have two ladies here with me today whose sons just did an outstanding performance for autism awareness, talking about what autism means about what it means to them. But I would like to hear a perspective from a mom and from an aunt who deal with teenagers that have autism. And first of all, tell us who you are.
I'm Irene, your kitty.
And your son's name is?
Caleb, your kitty.
Okay, and your?
Eileen Britton, and my nephew, Dylan Parent.
Okay, tell me how did you come to the autism realm? What was your first experience with autism?
I could tell when he was a little baby. He didn't want to nurse, and I thought that it was peculiar. It was the way he was crying and fidgeting. And then I noticed the eye contact was not there. And he didn't crawl for a long time, I think until he was 15 months. And he didn't really speak. And then I guess about the age of 2 and 3, I had him monitored. I took him to Fort Worth, the Cook's Clinic, and they did all kinds of tests on him, on his brain, and the Prader-Willi. They did everything, and he slipped through the cracks there, and they did that for 2 years, and then he got to where he just didn't really talk. He used to bang his head on the wall. He used to have really bad tantrums, fits, out of frustration because he couldn't communicate to me. And so I would get him, when that would happen, I would get him, and I would make sure everything was quiet in the house, and I'd get him, and I'd put him in my lap, and I would rock him, and hold him tight, and just rock him, and then soothe him, just with my fingers on like his eyebrows, until he calmed down. And then I'd ask him if he was okay, and he would say yes. And then I did that not very long ago, until my mother said she couldn't see me underneath him anymore.
Okay.
But now, when that does happen, which it still does, I have to get him to come and sit by me, and I still get him to kind of lay over, and I hold him and still soothe him. But he doesn't have them as much. He's able to, express his communication. And there were 13 specialists in the world, and one of them was Dr. Patricia Harkins, and she's in San Antonio. So we moved to San Antonio so she could be his doctor. She monitored him for about 6 months, and she told me that, he's come a long way. She wanted to know what my method was and how I was with him. And I'm just very, I guess I can't even explain how I was with him, but I didn't let that disability.
Didn't let the disability run your life.
Be who he was. I wanted him to be better than that disability. And actually, when he was 5 years old in kindergarten is when I first got the phone call. I guess I should have said this first. I got a phone call from the school, which they had been, I guess, monitoring and testing him on their own. And I got a call one day at work, and they asked me if I knew, if I had ever heard of autism. I immediately started crying because the first thing I thought of was Rain Man.
Okay.
And that's horrible, but that was my first reaction. And I've been on a quest ever since.
Okay. Well, thank you. And we'll talk a little bit more about how far her son has come. And Eileen, you came into the autism realm a little differently. Could you tell us?
It's about 2.5 years ago, Dylan came into my life. He's my nephew, my brother's son. And my brother was ill, and I brought Dylan and my brother down here to take care of him. And he passed away, and Dylan is mine now. And he was with me, I guess, about 6 months or so. And I knew he had issues, and when he first came, I knew his grandparents that he lived with had spoiled him, give him everything he wanted, and I thought he's just throwing temper tantrums. He's a brat. That's what my first impression of him was the first few months. Then the more I watched him, I noticed there was something not quite right. So I started taking him to a counselor. And she picked up on it and, you know, said, yeah, he is autistic. He has issues. He is unique. And I said, okay, what do we do? So that's when I just kind of come to the school and talk to everybody and counselors, doctors, and just
and you've done a beautiful
going
job.
from there.
Yeah.
He's come a long way.
So today, both of your boys gave a presentation on autism. How did you feel when Caleb got up in front of all these people and spoke so beautifully?
I cried. It really tore at my heart. I'm just out of being proud. I mean, he's astonishing. He's wonderful. Okay. And I wanted everyone to see what I know. And he got his chance today. Okay. Thanks to y'all.
Oh, he did a beautiful job. And how did you feel when Dylan got up in front of everybody and spoke so wonderfully?
Very, very proud of him. Very proud.
Were you surprised?
Yes, I really didn't think he would do it. He's not one to get up and talk in front of people.
Well, they're both outstanding young men, and I'm very proud of them. And I think we'll be able to learn from them. I think the student body will be able to learn from them. And I thank y'all very, very much.
Well, you're welcome.
Caleb picked out about 3 questions that he thought would be good for me to ask him in this little interview. Caleb, first of all, tell us who you are and where you go to school and what grade you're in and all those things.
First, I go to school here in FortDavis HighSchool, Indians, and I'm a junior.
Okay. And what plans do you have after you graduate from high school?
I know my whole life I used to play video games, so I know my purpose is to make video games, to be a lone wolf, make a video game all by myself. So once I graduate from school, I show after showing Mr. Hicks how to make video games here to the school, I'm still going to get out of school, graduate to make video games.
So what would be your dream job?
Well, it's same thing, like just making video games, like
to sell or for
to sell.
Okay.
For people to enjoy.
What just two things that you would want your friends to know about autism?
Well, for one thing, I want them to know, because here's one thing I want to say on the PowerPoint. When I was quiet, well, apparently, let me start from when I was in Florida. When I was in Florida, I remember I used to sit by my friends all the time, but in the lunch. But apparently, I was always quiet because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do, because like all I'd ever done in my life, I mean, I never go out, I never hang out with friends, never got to talk, never got what to say. Not much I can ever think of. But I tried one day about my friends say like they were talking about something I don't remember, but I said this like. I play like Call of Duty Blackouts like 2 o'clock in the morning. They looked at me like they actually looked at each other like, are you serious? I mean, we don't care about that. I mean, that made me feel terrible. And I thought, and people say, be yourself, and apparently that somehow does not work for me, because I know how people interact with me. That's why I try to hold myself all the time. But when I came here, I have seen, for all like Josiah, Mariah, Hunter, Loanna, Ashley, Dylan, and everyone else I have seen and met and talked to, they have changed, but some things are not fully done. I mean, if they can hear me right now, I want them to know, because when I'm quiet, the truth is, I don't want to be quiet. I want to make new friends. I want to get to know. I really want to say something. But mostly when I see them in a conversation, they talk about stuff like the outside. Like, I had been through this. My family did this. My dad did this. I remember I woke up like saying, like, hey son, I trashed the truck. I mean, they say stuff like that, but I'm there like thinking like, I wonder what I should say. Apparently, only thing I got is video games, because that's mostly I ever done. It's very hard to interact with my friends.
And it's hard to understand that sometimes we have to pick up on a conversation of an interest that somebody else has. And then so it's give and take. You listen to what they have to say, and then you get to tell about what you like. But, you know, that's part of the difficulty with autism.
I know.
You did a super job today, and I'm really proud of you.
I just hope this time was my friends heard me who I am. I really hope that tomorrow, I really hope I get the best conversation and friendship I ever had in my life.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Okay, Dylan. Okay. What is your biggest challenge at school?
Mostly algebra.
And what's hard about algebra?
Some things in algebra I don't like is foiling numbers, and all I'm saying is that math is getting harder and harder every year.
It is. I understand that because I can relate to that. I really can. Well, so what is your favorite subject then?
Journalism.
Oh, journalism. What do you like about journalism?
Well, journalism is making a school newspaper, which has recently been doing, but it's been on hold because I have to go to World Geography lab because I'm 2 points off in my EOC test.
Okay.
But until I get my points back up, I can go back to journalism.
Well, that's good incentive.
I know, but anyhow, in journalism, when I'm doing the school newspaper, I do comics.
And from what I understand, you do some really great comics.
Yes.
Yes, I'm hearing that. Is there plans that you have after you graduate from high school?
My plans or goal, could you say that? Well, anyhow, my plans for after high school is going to college, and after go to college, come to become a game designer.
Okay. And so your dream job would be?
Maybe work for Nintendo or 343 Industries.
Oh, wow. That would be a dream job. Anything you want to say about how you did today, how you felt when you finished your presentation?
Well, for the past few days, I've been feeling very nervous, and today I just still felt nervous, and I actually excused myself before the thing started. You know, just at least take a few breaths or whatever. And then after I got back up, I kind of felt good.
You did great. You looked good, you sounded good, and we couldn't tell you, either one of you guys were nervous. So, super job. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks.